Welcome to the Genesis of the Doctor podcast, where we're taking a journey through the time and space of the history of Doctor Who. I'm Tris,
And I'm Joy.
and for today's episode, we're watching the first and second serials of season 18 with the Leisure Hive and Meglos. Right off the bat, I want to stress season 18 is such a whiplash change with the fact that they make it very apparent that so much like production changed like right
Yeah.
away. Like the intro's different and it screams 80s and I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. I definitely think I liked the previous title sequence better.
Yeah.
And this logo is definitely very 80s as well.
Yeah, the logo's very 80s. It just feels devoid of personality, I guess if that makes sense. It
Yeah.
feels like they went for trying to define what sci-fi means in the 80s rather than defining Doctor Who. So it's kind of awkward, but I also learned upon the end of an episode, and we'll get into the specific episodes in a moment, but this is the start of the middle eight, I'm pretty sure, in the song.
Yeah, I think it might be.
I don't remember it appearing any time before this, so actually hearing it in the credits this time, I was like, wait, this was the start of it?
Yeah. And then on the intro one, they added like basically like the cliffhanger sting sort of
Yeah,
at the start of it,
yeah.
inspired by that.
It gives it a strong start, but like I don't know, it's like kind of awkward watching it play out because it does feel it feels so weird to have changed it, you know?
Yeah. And then of course they also changed the Doctor's costume,
Yep.
which I don't really have strong feelings on the costume
It
change.
is it weird that I feel like it makes him look older?
Yeah, I feel like it kind of does.
Like I don't know exactly how old Tom Baker was filming at this point, but something about the outfit, I feel like he looks older in this costume.
Yeah. And he definitely feels older when he takes off the coat, which he's been doing recently in
Yeah.
these stories.
Yeah. Like but like he's not even that old. I mean, now in the
Yeah.
present day, yeah, he is, but like when filming, like he wasn't that old, but he looks like 10 years older. I feel
Yeah.
like
I
I
think
don't
he's in
know,
his 40s at this point, like mid 40s, somewhere
makeup
around
and
there.
costume. I don't know. Like that's they changed some things here.
Yeah. And they added the question marks just on his collar, on his shirt.
I I do like that actually. I will say I do like the question marks on the collar. I would have liked to see that combined with some of the previous things instead of the full costume change. But
Yeah.
there is something about the little question marks that I do like actually. It's a nice subtlety.
Yeah. And then the question marks obviously stay on the Doctor's costume for Classic Who.
Yep. Yep.
They all have
And
them
that's
somewhere.
okay. I do think that is a fun theme to keep going. I do think that's something entertaining to be able to spot on the different costumes. And it's the fact that it
Yeah.
becomes kind of a defining feature of the classics is neat. So I do appreciate that much.
Yeah. And then the other changes he was making is that John Nathan Turn didn't really like that, like, you had super intelligent people on the TARDIS and no like normal people.
Hmm.
And he also didn't really like K9 because K9 just solves all the problems. So he blew up K9 in the first story.
Yeah, okay, let's get into the Leisure Hive because that opening, first off, that panning shot went on for like a whole minute longer than it needed to at the very start
Yeah.
of the episode. We get it, they're on the beach. If you did it in half the time, I think it would have conveyed exactly the same thing. So it was quite
Yeah.
strange with how long it went on. But then we have probably the stupidest Romana scene ever.
Yeah.
Where she gets K9 blown up. I have seen this clip in like Doctor Who cringe compilations for the past like 15 years. I did not know this was how they opened an episode. Like
Yeah.
normally you see she throws the ball, K9 goes into the water, she screams for K9, and then it cuts to the Doctor like sleeping for like a single second, and then the clip ends. But actually, like seeing it here, I'm like, wow, this is actually terrible. They didn't have to edit anything in those clips. I
Yeah,
what is happening here?
it's such a weird way to write him out of the story because, like, I mean, he's like fought monsters and stuff, and he's just gonna touch water for a second and he explodes. I don't know if that makes much sense to me.
Yeah, because he's not like seaweed resistant or whatever. It's or seawater resistant. It's I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah,
I, it's such a weird way to write him out, and I think it's such a disservice to Romana's character too, because it makes her
yeah.
seem a bit bumbling, which she's not.
Like, why would she even throw the ball towards the water if she wasn't sure if he would be fine?
Yeah,
I guess she just assumed he would be fine, and then, but even then, like, he can't like go on top of water. He would just sink, so he still wouldn't be able to get it. I don't know. It's weird.
it's very strange and not a very not a strong confident opening to this story. I gotta be real, because
Yeah,
it's also entirely unrelated to the rest of the story, other than setting up that they don't have K9 for kind of two stories to a degree because they're fixing him in the next one,
yeah,
and then setting up why they go to the Leisure Hive in the first point, or the whole point of that planet. They go there for, well, they go there because they want a different kind of vacation, to put it bluntly.
yeah. I think the story itself was just it was a little confusing at times of just like
Yeah,
the tachyon thing just can do like whatever they need it to for the plot of the story to work.
yeah, yeah. Tachyon was like very poorly elaborated, I think, and kind of poorly described. What really confused me is how like they build up this whole thing in the first couple of episodes of like, oh my god, it's all fake. Like everything they're showing off to all these like tourists, like none of it's real. It's all projections. And then they kind of drop that in favor of, oh, it turns out the technology is real. We're just doing something different than what we're showing with it, and we're gonna make an army of clones. We're gonna go full Santaran.
Yeah, definitely weird. And then like they couldn't get it working without Romano's help, but they already have the one guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Pangol's already created by the
Like
machine.
Pangel's whole plan worked. Like
Yeah,
ultimately, his whole thing, all of that was functioning. But I guess it was the actual intent of regeneration instead of cloning, that wasn't working. But like,
yeah,
I guess Pangel's whole thing was he didn't want that to work. It's why he kept being against it. But it's not even like he actively did anything to stop that, because it was the fact that the scientists that came up from Earth were faking that it worked. So
yeah,
it's just really messy. And Pangle suddenly coming up as a villain in all this felt really out of nowhere. Especially
yeah,
when how we see him at first, he's kind of just like the tour guide.
yeah, pretty much. And then he has the reference, like he just says that like he was created by the generator years ago, and it's like, oh, I guess it's been working for a long time then.
Yeah, it's like, so it's been working all this time, and
And they
I
only
guess we're
just
all
now
good then?
called a proper, uh, like a proper scientist to work on it. But
Well,
then this
apparently
proper scientist that they called,
they've been doing works with like the tachyomics or whatever it's called on Earth with like a bunch of studies allegedly, but apparently,
yeah,
as Mina did not know, they were faked all along.
yeah,
So very
like
strange.
it's weird that like they say that like the guy that was already there was kind of faking it, and then that guy gets killed off. But then like the guy that they called from Earth already knows the person that's leading the planet,
Yeah.
and but then he's kind of implying that he's just come here for the first time. So
So it's more
I don't
like,
know.
I think she was part of their research team on Earth for a
Yeah,
while,
I
and I think
guess.
she came ahead of him. Or like she returned to the planet ahead of him, and they had like something going on between them. Like they were
Yeah,
like very familiar while also like, oh, but like we're not allowed to be. Like there was a lot of like little things between them that they don't really push any further either.
yeah. There was a hint at a romance, and then not much really happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of romances, this was one of the times when Lalla Ward and Tom Baker were not getting along really
Oh,
quite
really?
quite badly. Because they broke up after they finished season 17, and then
Oh.
when they started this season, Tom Baker wanted to get together and she didn't. So
Ah.
he wasn't very happy making this one.
That's. Yeah, probably not.
They do get
um.
back together. Like the season is filmed out of order. I think it's after the next one that they film, which is
Okay.
not Meglos. Meglos was later. But then yeah, they get back together after the next one. I think
Okay.
State of Decay was next, which is the fourth one of the season when they were making it. And
Given
then I
that we
read that
know that some of these
the
stories are directly connected, it is a little weird they filmed them out of order. But anyway, continue.
yeah, I know that the producer didn't really like Meglos, so he was kind of moving it around a bunch in the production orders. But then like it's kind of weird that Adric is they have Adric by that point, but then he can't film on that one, obviously.
That-
But yeah, Meglos was put second just because Adric wasn't in it, so it kind of had to be second.
I
But
see.
then,
Okay.
and then the funny story apparently is that Lalla Ward and Tom Baker bonded again because neither of them liked Matthew Waterhouse, who is Adric.
Oh,
So they
that's
bonded over not
unfortunate.
liking him.
That's
Unfortunately, I know
unfortunate.
I think most people that worked with Matthew Waterhouse didn't really like him very much. So
Really?
it's just like I think he was just like young and inexperienced and maybe a bit full of himself at times or
Hmm.
stuff like that.
I see.
I think they like him nowadays, but I think when they were filming with him, most of them didn't like him that much.
Huh. Okay. A little bizarre, but yeah, I guess we'll never know like the full stories of behind the scenes stuff there.
Yeah,
Um, Coming back to specifically the Leisure Hive though. The other thing that I like really want to point out is how egregious the ending was, because there's like the big concern of Pangle and Mina getting in the machine together, and then the Doctor manages to stop it, and she comes out of there holding the baby, already saying her line. Like,
yeah.
they couldn't do more takes of that because that did not come together well. She seemed anxious to say her lines and get that baby out of her hands.
Yeah.
There was no breathing time whatsoever. It was
Yeah.
incredibly awkward.
I find it so funny they put a wig on the baby though.
Yeah. Uh I will also say, from the first couple of episodes of this story, I kept jotting down that like this just feels like the premise of Orphan 55 from Modern Who,
Yeah.
including down to like people with the green wigs, except they did it better in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's also vaguely similar to Midnight in that it's
Yeah.
a vacation place on a planet that you're not safe to go outside
Yep.
on.
Yep. Yep. I think Orphan 55 is slightly closer because it was also like damaged by warfare. That's the whole reason.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, the twist of Orphan 55 being it's Earth versus here, it's their planet. Um,
Yeah. And I
I
guess they both
liked
have like bug creatures on the outside.
kind of, kind of.
They're not really
Well,
bugs on Over 55, but they're vaguely similar to these guys, sort of
yeah.
in design wise.
The Fomasi, I think is what they were called. They
Yeah.
were reptilian. I kind of liked the chameleon eyes that they had.
Yeah.
um, I don't know if they were like natively on this planet
They
or
they
maybe
were the
not native.
ones they were the ones that they had the war with. So that
Yeah, they were the ones
it's
they had
not
the
their
war
planet.
with, but did they actually take over the planet? I thought the planet was just uninhabitable now. Other
Yeah, it was
than
just uninhabitable, and then
okay.
they said the Famasi could live outside, which is why they wanted to buy it from them.
Ah. But
But
then,
I
it
mean,
turns out the Famasi was actually they were actually like a criminal organization, and the Famasi
yeah,
government was hunting them down. I will say I did like how that was a subversion of expectation, that you thought they were going to be the villains, but turns out they were only slightly the villains and that they were capitalists, and
Yeah.
their government stopped the capitalists, and then turns out they were just the B plot.
Yeah.
That bit I
Apparent.
did like. I just don't think the rest was executed very well.
Yeah. I liked the scene when like they're ripping the guy's suit off
Yeah,
and they reveal that he's a Fomasi underneath. And then he steals
that
his
was
voice
quite
modulator.
silly.
Behind the scenes, apparently the writer wanted them to be like mafioso inspired, and like that's why they were named Fomasi, because it's
Oh, the
very similar
anagram.
letters.
Yeah, that's
But
funny.
then the new production team wanted to tone down comedy, so they didn't go as far into it as he wanted them to.
Right. Darn.
I
I
also
think
forgot
it
to
would have been
mention
fun.
I forgot to mention last time that Barry Letts, who was the producer for the Third Doctor era, is executive producing this season,
Oh, okay.
just because John Nathan Turner doesn't, like, technically he's never been a producer before, so they wanted to just have someone there to show him the ropes and stuff.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because John Nathan Turner was like a floor manager on Doctor Who before this or something, so he's never been a producer before. But then he was
Hmm.
the obvious choice because he'd been there for so many years.
Right.
But yeah, they wanted Barry Letts to just make sure he knew how to do things, basically.
That actually makes sense. Okay, I understand that.
And then this is the story where they make the Doctor old as well, and then he's old for the whole story.
It seems like he kind of had fun doing that. I don't know why. Just something about it, like acting old, seemed like something he had fun with.
I know he wanted it to only be a temporary thing, and then they said like, no, we want it to be for like 3 episodes, and then he wasn't the biggest fan of how long it took.
That I can imagine because it really limits what he's able to do. You know.
Yeah, I think they did a decent job with having him old, though.
I agree.
It's an interesting change to do with him.
I do agree, and I do think Romana got to do quite a bit this time too.
Yeah. And then they also leave the randomizer behind in this one as well.
Yeah, they even mentioned the Black Guardian, and I.
Yeah.
It's so stupid because they weren't doing anything with the randomizer the whole last season.
Yeah. I mean, they mentioned at the beginning of this that the Doctor's been bypassing the randomizer, so I guess you're just supposed to assume that all the stories we saw
Yeah.
last season were when they were doing that. And I guess they were just using the randomizer between episodes and stuff.
Which is kind of ridiculous because it still just defeats the whole purpose of it.
Yeah. I do like, though, that the Doctor says, like, the Black Guardian is some galactic hobo with ideas above his station. The cosmos is full of them. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, yeah, the Doctor's another one of those.
Yeah, technically. Very true, very true.
Yeah, it's funny how they felt the need to bring back the randomizer to get rid of it when, like, it was already not really a thing last season.
Yeah, I don't know if people cared that much to hear an explanation about it,
Yeah.
considering how irrelevant it had been.
I didn't have a lot of notes on this story, though. About all I had here.
No, that's about it for me too. I thought it was very okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not the best opening. It had a couple good moments, but I do think, um, it was a bit rough at times. I think the unfortunate standout points are more so standouts for negatives or being kind of bad.
Yeah. Oh, and this was the final story written by David Fisher, who had done The Stones of Blood, Androids of Terra, and Creature from the Pit as well.
Oh, okay. I do think all of those other ones are better than this one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Androids of Terra, especially, like, that's definitely my favorite of his, I would say.
Yeah.
Stones of Blood was very good, too, though.
Then that brings us over to the other story that we watched here, Meglos, which
Yep.
I might have a little bit more to say about this one, but this is also one that I don't really know what I expected going in, but I don't know if it necessarily met my expectations. It was
Yeah.
neat to see Jacqueline Hill again.
Yeah. I almost felt like I wouldn't recognize her unless I knew she was in it.
Yeah,
Personally.
she was very different, and I mean it's been like
15 years about?
yeah, so And
Yeah,
and
because
now she's in color, so
she left in 66, and this is 81.
yeah, yeah. So 15 years.
Or 65. Yeah, it was 65, and this is 1980. So 15
Okay.
years.
Yep.
Because I remember uh, Ian said London, 1965, when they show up there. It's definitely a very different character for her. And it's
Which I
kind of
think
funny that
is good, but
it's funny to note that, obviously Barbara is so much against human sacrifice in the Aztecs, and then in this one, she's the one that wants to do
yeah,
it.
she's the one that wants to do it. That's why I say that there was something fun about it, that she's truly playing such a different character here.
Yeah. I know basically the
Um,
story is that she was kind of getting older and it was kind of difficult to find jobs, and then Doctor
mhm.
Who just offered her a job, so she just took it.
I see.
Because she's like 50-ish at this point, and unfortunately, when you're an actress and you're 50, you're too old to play the young characters and too young to play the old characters. So
Yeah,
it's hard to find jobs.
kind of
And
an awkward point. Yeah,
she had retired in the 70s to raise her family, and then wanted to get back into acting in the 80s.
I see. I see. This story, otherwise, was something. I mean, we went in knowing that she would be here. We went in knowing that Tom Baker also plays the role of the villain of Meglos. Um,
Yeah,
I did like how they handled like the cactus suit for him. I thought that actually
yeah,
was kind of a cool effect. Probably very annoying to act in, but
yeah.
it was pretty cool looking, I would say.
I know Tom Baker absolutely hated wearing the cactus stuff.
I
I,
can only
I feel like
imagine.
he enjoyed playing Meglos, but he definitely didn't enjoy having to put on the makeup.
I wonder how long that took, because it looks like it's just all over. So I feel like that would take quite some time.
Yeah, probably why they only use it for like a couple scenes here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
But yeah, go
the
ahead.
funny story about this as well is that Tom Baker is the only person to be in Madame Tussauds twice, because they also made a Meglos statue
That's
for
funny.
a wax figure. And he's the only person in all of history that has two statues in there.
That's really funny, actually.
And it's
Of
also
all
just
things.
it's just because they made his regular one at this time, and they're like, hey, he has a double. You want to just do two?
And they
So yeah, there's
actually
also
said
one with the
sure.
cactus stuff on it that they made.
That's so silly. That cactus stuff is so strange. I'm
Yeah,
still kind of confused after all this, to be honest. Who and what Meglos even is. I understand it's
yeah,
like, the last of its kind on a dying planet, but like, why did it have these powers? Considering what we saw of it was literally just a cactus until it gets like
yeah,
an earthling specimen who never even gets named, by the way, to inhabit the body of. And then for some reason, once it's in the human body, it could just shapeshift into the doctor?
yeah. It's very, very weird things. And then after, at the end, it just becomes like a slug when it leaves the body, and it doesn't just turn back into a cactus.
Nope. Well, it eventually turns back to a cactus once it gets back to the control room or wherever it was trying to go to.
Yeah,
But this also begs a question, too, right? Like, one of the big points of this entire story was everything related to the dodecahedron and how like it's like the power for what's the planet name, Tigella, something like
yeah,
that. Like it was like the source of power for that planet, and they needed it, and they never resolved that.
yeah. They don't get it back, and then they don't really say what happens.
They don't get it back, and the Doctor destroys the planet that it was on. So
Yeah,
the whole point of bringing him in to save them never actually gets figured out. He just stops Meglos from using it
yeah,
for worse things. And when it ended, I was just like, wait, you're ending it there? Like, you didn't solve the problem. You solved Meglos, the extra problem, but you didn't solve the main problem.
yeah.
All that
I,
happened is Jacqueline Hill's character got killed.
yeah. Apparently, they killed her off because originally in the script she just kind of stopped appearing after that point, and they're like, well, we should give her an ending though. and then
Yeah.
it's not a very good ending.
No, it's sudden and it feels a little unearned.
Yeah, it's just a person that was lying on the floor is just actually not dead yet, and then they shoot her. Well, they try to shoot Romana, and then Lexa jumps in the way. Then it's like off screen when she's doing that too. And
Yeah, it's a bit awkwardly done. Exactly why I feel like I don't know if it's exactly earned.
yeah, especially because like she's very much not a heroic character the whole story, and then they just want to give her a heroic ending
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Like there's I don't know, like this story's weird because there's some things that are really cool about it. Like again, I do think the way they handled Meglos is neat, but I feel like they didn't really know what story they wanted to tell here because it doesn't
Yeah,
actually conclude like at
yeah.
all.
I think it's kind of funny that like this is a story about a doppelganger, and then they never really use like them getting mistaken for each other much. Like I guess technically, like he shows up at the beginning, and then they think he's the doctor, and he's not the doctor. But then like
Yeah,
there's never a moment where it's like the two of them are in the room, and you need to figure out which one's which. And normally you do that kind of thing.
it is
And then
only under the pretense of it's like a long-winded way of this is why the doctor's getting sacrificed.
yeah,
Because it doesn't amount to anything else other than later on when the doctor tricks them at the very end. But they're trying to get rid of him anyway, so it doesn't matter if he was a
yeah,
doctor or not there. And then when they're both in the same room, he just immediately transfers back into Cactus. So it's like
yeah,
you didn't really utilize it. I was really expecting to come in with like Second Doctor and Salamander kind of story,
yeah,
but we didn't really get that. They started building up to it in the end again, but it was awkward because they were going to get rid of him anyway. So there was
yeah.
no real point in him having to do that. I mean,
It's really
I
only
guess it allowed him to change things up so it would destroy them when they activated it, but
yeah,
they also could have just written an excuse of him sneaking in to do that anyway.
yeah. The doppelganger aspect is really just so Meglos can steal the dodecahedron, and then so the doctor
Yep,
can mess with it, and that's it.
yep. I'm just shocked that they don't actually wrap up anything for the dodecahedron. They just destroy the planet.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'm
guess you're
so
supposed.
surprised by that.
I guess you're supposed to just think that they went onto the surface because they're already thinking about maybe doing that. I will say there is. I think it was like a in a Doctor Who magazine short
Uh huh.
story they had that was a sequel to this where
Okay.
they established that Meglos survived somehow. They don't
Oh.
really explain how, and then they also say that all the people on Tigella just died of starvation weeks later, which is not a great
Okay.
ending for them.
Not at all.
I feel like it's by the vibe of it. I assume it's probably not supposed to be the most serious story, just because it's like Meglos just
No.
says like, "Oh, I'm still alive and they're all dead. Don't worry about it." But yeah, that's technically the only continuation there's ever been because nobody else has ever picked up Meglos or the Tigellans
Messy.
again. Although there were plans to bring back Meglos in the Lodger with the 11th Doctor, but then they decided not to
Really?
because yeah, they decided not to because of like the cactus people in the End of Time, and they're like, well, they look too similar, so we don't want to do that right now.
I
But yeah,
I guess
the
that's
villain of
fair.
the villain of the Lodger was originally going to be Meglos, who was disguised as an old woman, and
I did not
yeah,
know
then they
that.
changed
That's
that.
interesting.
Would have been a very random thing to just bring back for that story in
Yeah,
particular.
I would have. I would be interested in seeing what they do with Meglos if they ever opt to bring him back. Because the other thing
Yeah,
too is like it almost feels like he knows who the Doctor is from the get go. So like it
yeah,
would be interesting if you have a Meglos before this point, knowing and encountering the Doctor,
yeah.
instead of he somehow survives.
And like he even somehow managed to immediately track down where the TARDIS was and then trap him
Yeah,
in the time loop.
exactly.
So he knows a lot about the Doctor in order to be able to do that.
And to trap the Doctor in a time loop. Oh my god, we didn't talk about the time loop. Yeah, that that was fun actually. I think they had fun with that.
Yeah, it's a fun little sequence there.
I think it went on a little bit longer than I would have liked in terms of them repeating the same clip, but I understand you're trying to convey that they're stuck in a frustrating time loop.
Yeah.
So I
And I,
think it
li-
was okay, but
I like how they break it by just having to redo the actions out of sync, so then it snaps out. It's a fun way to
that
do that.
was fun. The idea of how to break it was fun, I think.
And then I like how like the doctor doesn't remember his line, and Ramona has to remind him, and then afterwards he's like, "Oh, Ramona, I thought you forgot your line."
It's pretty
And she's
funny.
so annoyed.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. And the guy that
And
played Grugger agreed to only do it if he on the condition that he was allowed to kick K9 at some point, because he never liked
wow.
K9. And then he does get to kick K9 in episode 3.
Wow. That's so mean.
Yeah.
That's so
K9
mean.
doesn't have a great time in this story either, because
No, he doesn't.
he's having battery problems. I assume they kind of just did that because they wanted him to be less overpowered, so they had to give him battery problems so that he couldn't do everything he normally does.
Hmm. Yeah, I think overall the story is awkward. I think I
Yeah.
might have liked. I don't know which one I liked better between Leisure Planet or Meglos, to be completely honest.
Yeah. They're both just very okay stories,
Yeah.
I would say.
None of them, neither one are like bad. I would not say either one is bad because I enjoyed watching
Yeah.
through them, but they're kind of just okay.
I know with Meglos, these are writers that it's a two writers for the story, and this is like the only time they write for Doctor Who. And then they were
Hmm.
saying on like the behind the scenes features on the Blu-ray that they were comedy writers, and then they were told not to write it as a comedy, so they kind of struggled with that.
That, yeah, that would be difficult.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
you're
then
really good at this. Now write something else. What?
they really liked having like anagrams in their stories, so I forget what the guy's name was, but the Gregor's second in command, his Brododak, I think his name is. And then if you rearrange those letters, you get bad actor, and that was. And then they told the actor that had been hired for that his character was named bad actor, and then he like called his wife and said like, "Hey, I was hired to play a bad actor this time,"
That's so funny.
because their intention was for them to get someone that's not really a great actor in the role, although they said that they thought that the guy that played him was a better actor than they wanted.
That's so funny. A little bit. I loved his fascination with the coat. That was really
Yeah,
funny. Because that, like,
and then
kept coming back up.
there's kind of the joke in there as well that it's a rather nice coat now that he's finished playing the Doctor, and that's a
Hmm.
joke because he is finished playing the Doctor. Tom Baker's not playing the Doctor much longer at this point. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
the
that's true.
announcement the announcement that he is leaving happened after the final part of this story. I don't know when the
Oh.
production team knew, but publicly they were told 6 days after the last episode aired of Meglos that he was leaving.
Okay. Did he talk about, like, what made him make that decision at this point? Much? Like,
I don't
why
think he
at this
really
point
said
was?
much. He was
Okay.
mostly just saying that like it was just time to move on. It's his public story. And
Hmm.
then we know behind the scenes that it was largely that he felt like John Nathan Turner wanted a new doctor, so he
Yeah.
just gave him the opportunity. Apparently they
Yeah.
had like a complicated relationship. Like they kind of got along, him and John Nathan Turner, especially because like he'd been there for years and
Hmm.
he knew how to handle Tom Baker basically. But I know Tom Baker didn't like a lot of the changes that were happening. Was mainly
Yeah.
why he left.
That makes sense. That does
Especially
indeed make
because like
sense.
they kind of wanted it to not be like the Tom Baker show anymore, where he's always the lead of every story and everything.
Hmm.
And he really liked being the lead of everything.
That's fair, honestly. I mean, we know Tom Baker's been a bit difficult to work with too, so I guess
Yeah,
I wonder. I have to imagine they didn't try very hard to keep him to stay. Like, oh
yeah,
well, if that's what you want, all right. We are looking to refresh things anyway, because he's
yeah,
also been out there a long time at this point compared to others. So
yeah. And then I know the companions are written off just because they want regular people more
yeah,
so.
which is fair after how long it's been. It's been a while since we had like, the typical modern day quote unquote stand in. as a
Yeah,
companion. It's been
they want.
several seasons at this point, so
Yeah, I guess Sarah Jane was the last modern
yep.
day person. They wanted more audience surrogate
Yeah,
companions,
which
which
I
is why they.
understand because that is part of what helps people connect with them so much.
Yeah, that's why they write off uh, Romana and
Hmm.
K9 as well. Just because K9 can solve every problem, and he didn't really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't said insufficient data yet.
Yeah. It is funny to me though that like they called back John Leeson and got him to come back, and then in his first story he blows up in the first 5 minutes, and then he's not even in the first one.
Honestly, so funny.
Apparently, he also wasn't using a voice modulator this season, even though
Oh,
he had before. So he's just actually doing that, like his voice.
that's kind of impressive.
Yeah, I didn't have much to written down about the story either.
No, I think that pretty much covers both the Leisure Hive and Nicholas. But there is a little bit of news to go over before
Yep.
we move on. So I'd say we dive into some news. Before the one that's written down, I do want to point out that as we know, Modern Doctor Who is out to competitive tender. But we've since learned that I think the CEO of BBC Studios is like very enthusiastic about competing in that and like trying to be the
Yeah.
one to get it. And they're the ones that pretty much did it the whole time before it went to Disney and Bad Wolf. So it
Yeah.
might just go right back to being in house potentially. I think
Yeah.
the worst case, if no one else takes it, it goes right back to them. So you know what? That's okay.
Yeah. I technically like the commissioning side of the BBC and BBC Studios are like sort of independent companies,
Right.
somewhat, which is ultimately why BBC Studios has to compete in tenders. But it is at least good to know that like worst case scenario, if nobody else pitches them, we at least have it at BBC Studios, and obviously
Yeah.
BBC Studios is where it has been.
Yeah.
Sort of. I think like technically, like BBC Studios has like rebranded and stuff over the years, so it's like
Hmm.
technically it wasn't always at BBC Studios, but like
Right.
what is now BBC Studios was always where it was, but it was like a different thing over the years and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, from it's good to know that like BBC Studios is definitely interested.
And it kills the rumors and ideas, the doom posting people were making that oh nobody wants it, right? Like it
Yeah,
definitely kills that idea. When like nope, turns out the people that have been doing it all along also want it. So
it's like when the competitive tender was first announced, and then people were writing articles about like we asked people who had like British studios if they would take over Doctor Who, and they all said no. That means nobody wants it. But like you're probably just asking the wrong people,
yeah,
because like they were asking they didn't say which studios they were asking, but they were saying like they asked like well-known British studios, and those well-known British studios probably already have other TV shows to do, so they probably don't really
yeah,
care about Doctor
probably,
Who.
probably not. No, beyond the status of current modern Doctor Who, there is also Circuit Breaker, which I will
Yep.
let you take over for because I know you love the Fugitive Doctor.
Yeah, there was the first comic Adversary of the Daleks came out last week,
Hmm.
which is that comic kind of weirded me out because it kind of isn't doing what they said the premise of Circuit Breaker was going to be in
Oh,
some
that's
ways.
awkward.
Because like obviously the implication was supposed to be that like they're stories that the Doctor's been involved in, and that one definitely didn't have
Isn't
any other Doctor in it.
huh?
And then also like the fugitive Doctor's mission is supposed to be returning things to where they used to be, and then she kind of just leaves it there, and it's not really brought back to where it was supposed to be originally. So like I'm not.
So she's doing a
It's
poor job right off the bat. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to start off with a thing that just kind of breaks the premise, whereas normally you'd want like the first one to be doing the premise. I don't know. It's a weird choice. So I'm wondering if like they're gonna keep having her like refusing to do the job correctly, but they at least like I think they do a good job at uh characterizing the future Doctor in that one though, where they really play up the idea that she's not as nice as the Doctor normally is, because this is a pre-Hartnell
Yeah.
incarnation, And obviously, William Hartnell wasn't the nice, or the first Doctor wasn't the nicest person at the start.
No.
And and in this, they're definitely playing up that idea that the fugitive Doctor is not nice yet.
I like that though. I think it creates an entirely different dynamic.
Yeah, they have Osgood and Andrew, who is Osgood's assistant, multiple times saying like, you're not acting like the Doctor that we know.
Are they traveling with her for this?
Not in this one, no.
Okay.
It's just it opens up with her at unit, and then she takes a Dalek gun, and then she comes back to unit at the end.
Okay.
And then I guess she tells them what she did when she was there, and then they're not happy about some of the things that she did. I won't say too much though, for spoilers.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then there's also the other news that came out that the fugitive Doctor has a sonic screwdriver in one of the future stories. And it's a very good design. I love the design.
It's a really good looking sonic screwdriver. I love that it invokes the idea of like the classic sonic screwdrivers while having the complexity in its design and inspirations that we've seen with the modern ones.
Yeah. And I kind of love how, Russell D. Davis was saying that like he didn't like the sonic screwdriver being held like a gun, and then they just literally put the gun that the fugitive Doctor had on her Sonic. Part of it is inspired by her gun from Fugitive of the June, which is just kind of funny that the 15th Doctor's one is a remote because he didn't want it looking like a gun, and then this one literally is a gun.
I will say some of those changes that RTD made felt like he was taking the fall for executive decisions, because that kind of makes no sense given that he's kind of the one that started it getting used like that. So I don't think that one was actually on him. That being said, I do love 15's Sonic Screwdriver. It's one of my favorite designs because I love how different and unique it is. It feels more like a multi-purpose gadget, but I do love the Fugitive Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver. I hope they sell it because it looks really good, and there's something about its design that feels like a great fusion of classic and modern ideas, which I think is perfect for it.
I have to assume they're going to sell it because they wouldn't have, they don't need a physical prop of it at all. But she has 3 of them in the short video that they made. So they're clearly making a lot of them, I feel. Because, it's in a book is that you have it, so you don't even need 1, never mind 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any reason why they've been going, like, for everything that's supposed to be part of Circuit Breaker, they gave her a new costume, she's going all in on that, and she has a Sonic now and all that as well, like, outside of maybe, like, photo shoots, is there anything she's... Because this makes me wonder if maybe there really was, at some point, plans for her to get, like, something related to like a show, a spinoff, some sort of actual thing that she herself visibly acts in.
I don't know. I mean, they've been doing like some short clips of her in character. I know, but yeah, I feel like it might mostly just be because like some of the covers are just her. They're just pictures of her.
Right. That's
like
what I mean, like photo shoots and all.
Yeah, there are variant covers for the comics where it's just a picture of her. So it's probably just mostly the photo shoots that they were doing it with.
Okay, I see.
I guess.
But it functions. They didn't need to do that for a photo.
Yeah. That definitely makes me just feel like they're just going to sell it soon.
I mean,
that's what they're making them for.
It was revealed before Comic-Con. And Comic-Con is already happening by the time you're watching this episode, probably, or already happened at that point. So usually that's where they reveal those kinds of things. Not that I think Doctor Who has any sort of panel or presence there, but the manufacturer of a toy version of it might be there, and they might reveal it there. So
yeah. And I will say that people were questioning like how the Fugitive Doctor can even have a sonic screwdriver, and then I guess the producer for Circuit Breaker was asked, and he basically just said that, like, I mean, it's going to be explained, but the basic idea is, well, she's met the 13th Doctor, so...
Yeah.
Like, she was inspired by that. She met 13th Doctor, and she's currently working with UNIT, so I guess she was just inspired to make one, even though, like, on the show, we know that the 2nd Doctor was the first one we saw with one.
Yep. Well, I mean, although, there's the whole... erasure of memory in between those. So
Yeah. And then like when the second Doctor uses it, he doesn't act like it's a new invention. He just kind of pulls it out of his pocket and is like, "Oh, it's a sonic screwdriver.
yeah,
It's just a thing I have." So, it's not implied in the second Doctor stories that it's a new
I
thing.
I
It's just that
am
the first Doctor didn't like using one.
I am very curious to see how she uses it
Yeah.
comparatively, if it feels like a retro use or a modern use.
Yeah,
Because like in modern era, the sonic screwdriver is very much your answer to everything.
yeah. The
It's your
implication we
canine.
have is that it's not going to show up until the book that she wrote, which
Okay.
is, I think the book that she wrote is like one of the last ones in Circuit Breaker, so we're not going to have it very
Okay.
long. But so it's in her book, and I think after her book, I think it's just Big Finish
hmm
after that, so it might show up in Big Finish. I guess. I
Yeah.
guess we'll find out.
Okay. I see. I
Yeah,
see.
I think her book's like one of the last ones coming out. So
It's in
with the
September,
implication,
right?
yeah, that's beginning of September,
Okay.
and that's the one with Martha Jones in it. And then they showed off the cover, which has her on it as well.
Do we know when in Martha's timeline that's supposed to be?
I don't think we do, although it is shortly coming in after they have the Shakespeare Code enemies in like one of the other stories. So I assume
Oh,
that
okay.
maybe she's gonna somehow be related to
Yeah.
that one. So
Okay, that makes sense.
they might run into each other when she's trying to do something with that. Although that one's also one of the weird ones that they have in the story because all of them they establish that like they just randomly showed up in the Black Archive, but that one they say that the Doctor dropped it off there at some point just because like he had it with him and then he didn't want to have it anymore.
Yeah, we did
So
see him still have that in the TARDIS at some point too. So
yeah, and then they say that so that one he dropped off there. So there's like it's not. It doesn't have to be returned to the timeline anywhere because it's
yeah,
just
that
supposed to be
one
in
is
Black
odd,
Archive.
but
So I don't know how they're going to do that story, but I assume Martha will probably come into that story at some point, and then I guess she sticks around for a bit.
I'm excited for
Prob-
that because I don't think Martha's really been in, other than the Year of Martha Jones story that happened a few years back. She was in the Torchwood audio series that was meant to be like a season 5 or 6 or something like that of the show, which like
yeah,
explained what happened to her that whole time, or like where she's been since Doctor Who. But it's good getting her actually in a Doctor Who related thing again and not adjacent.
yeah. I kind of hope we end up getting the announcement that she's going to be in the Big Finish story, but we don't know yet.
I hope so. That would be nice. I mean,
Because every
I just want her to come back the same way everyone else related to the original Tenant Run has come back.
yeah,
She's the most deserving of coming back too.
kind of sucks that she's the one that's not coming back
Yeah,
in the show, but at least Circuit Breaker's bringing her back.
yeah,
And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Joe Martin has written
yeah.
for the future Doctor.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm probably gonna pick that one up because I am looking forward to that. Granted, I hope I won't need to keep up with the entirety of Circuit Breaker to keep up to understand what's happening in that one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like as long as you know the basic premise of what it's about, you can
I
probably
think so.
be okay. And worst
Yeah,
case
I think
scenario, you can
so.
just ask me about what's been going on because I'm
True.
keeping up with it.
True.
I think by the
Uh,
time this episode goes public, one of the I think the Doctor Who magazine episode or the next issue of that has come out, and there's a story in there. And then I think also the BBC audiobook with her meeting Cybermen is also out by that point, but it's not out while
okay.
we're recording.
Okay, I see. So more will come in due time, basically.
Yeah,
All right. Well, while we talked about the modern classic Fugitive Doctor, back of course to the classics, actual classics of Doctor Who.
yeah,
If you wish to join us on this journey through Classic Who, and as we near the end of Tom Baker's run, we'll come back to that in a moment. You can support us on Patreon, of course. At our lowest tier, you'll be able to get into the Discord, and we'll be encouraging discussions between the episodes about what we're watching, and you'll also get early access to these episodes. Or at our companion tier, you can watch live as we record. We'll have a little side chat here, and you can tell us that Meglos is actually the best Tom Baker story, and he's better as Meglos than as the Doctor. I don't know.
yeah. And how you like Jacqueline Hill as Lexa more than Night's
Yeah.
Barbara.
Exactly. But we're gonna be doing something a little bit different for next episode, so I'll toss this over to you, Joy, if you would like to explain how our next
Yep.
episode prep is going to look.
So normally we only watch 2 stories at a time, but the next 3 stories in the season are a trilogy of stories, so we figured we may as well just watch all 3 of them, because it would make a bit more sense. So they're 3 4-parters, and it's Full Circle, State of Decay, and Warrior's Gate. And the premise I know of these is that they go to E-Space, and E-Space is a different universe,
Oh,
where the normal Doctor Who universe is referred to as N-Space, and this is E-Space that they're going to. So
all right.
they go there in Full Circle, and then they get out of there in Warrior's Gate. And then in Full Circle, we will meet Adric, who is like the least liked companion of Doctor Who ever. Nobody. People tend to not like Adric very much, which is why he gets the ending that everybody knows he gets.
Wow, I did not know that's why. Genuine. I
Yeah.
always thought, because people always talk about that, I always thought that just meant he was just really iconic.
Yeah, he was
Not infamous.
not well liked. And then
Wow,
I know
alright.
from what I've heard is, they never talk about him after he dies. So it's like people always say it like the Doctor didn't even like him because he doesn't care about him after he dies and stuff. But
Oh,
yeah,
so so what you're saying is the power of the Doctor having that scene between Tegan and the hologram of the Fifth Doctor was like really, really meaningful.
yeah, that was like the first time they ever talked about him after he died.
Wow.
And then Tales of the
Wow.
TARDIS comes along and also does more with it. But yeah, Adric is not a popular companion, and people were kind of okay with him getting killed off.
Actually, never would have guessed that. Not gonna lie. Never would have guessed that.
Yeah. Yeah, we meet him in Full Circle, and then there's State of Decay, which is about vampires, I know. That's a few seasons ago, I think one of the writers pitched a vampire story, and then they said, well, there was just a Dracula movie that came out at the time, so they didn't want to do it
Oh,
then. And then
yes, yes.
they pushed it back to here. And I think it's like, it establishes that, like, vampires are like old enemies of the Time Lords or something like that. So it's, yeah. And then in Warrior's Gate, we will be saying goodbye to Romana and K9.
All right.
And then,
So,
the Doctor leaves E-Space at the end of that, and I think they stay behind, is what happens. So,
oh, I thought maybe they just would have like stayed on Gallifrey because we know we're going to Gallifrey next. So,
well, they were called to Gallifrey. I think they don't actually get there, is what happens.
okay.
But they
We'll
were
see
called
what
back.
happens there, I guess.
Yeah, I think the premise is that, like, when they're on the way there, they go through, like, a weird wormhole, and then that drops them out in E-Space. So, yeah.
The usual travel troubles of the TARDIS. Well, then, as a reminder, make sure to watch Full Circle and State of Decay and Warrior's Gate before our next episode. So it's a whole extra story than usual, but it's so that we can round out a full trilogy rather than stopping in the middle of it. You can find
Yeah,
those
and then
on
also,
the BBC iPlayer. Oh, go ahead.
also, the last 2 stories of the season are kind of a duology, because
Yeah.
the Master shows up in the second last one and then is in the last one, so it makes sense to
Yeah,
watch those
so
together
it's
as
also
well.
good to it's also good to group those together, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can find all of those on the BBC iPlayer or the Doctor Who Classic YouTube channel, or once again back on Tubi TV. Woohoo!
Yep.
And if you support us on Patreon for just $1 a month, you'll get access to our Discord and early access to these episodes. I have been Tris. You can find me on most socials at ToonTris.
And I've been Joy. You can find me at Joy Content.
And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.